Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm gonna be showing you how to make this Obi waist belt, and if that is something you're interested in learning or knowing how to make, then you want to keep on watching all to the end. For this video, you'll be needing interfacing and fabric. So when choosing your fabric, I recommend you use a thick fabric, like a steady and stable fabric, and not lightweight fabrics. So my waist circumference is currently 31 inches. I will be reducing that by 3 inches. So when I subtract 3 inches from 31, I'll be having 28 inches left, and that is what I have for my waist circumference. Okay, so this is the shape of the belt, or this is the shape that I want the belt to be in. So that center front line, or that center front point, I want it to be 7 inches high or wide, while that bottom side or the lower part of the belt would be 28 inches. So since I'll be cutting it on fold, it's going to be 14 inches, and when I open it up, it's going to give me a total of 28 inches. So the center front is 7 inches wide, while the side front is 4 inches wide on both sides. On the left and on the right is both, the left and the right part would be 4 inches wide each, while that center front line would be 7 inches, which is going to be the highest point of this belt. You can do anything you want, you can make any shape you want, so you can use any shape, but this is what I want, and this is what I'll be working with, and these are the measurements I'll be using to cut out my main fabric. Okay, now moving on to the straps. All the straps would be 4 inches wide, because that side of the band, the side of the band is 4 inches, so the straps should equally be 4 inches, because you want all the sides to tally. You don't want any part to be longer or shorter than the other. And these straps would be 45 inches long. You can decide to go longer if you want to, but for me 45 inches was just okay. And also I wanted the band or the straps to have pointed tip, and that is why it looks pointed on that side. So this is my fabric, the band or the waist area, which is going to be the main belt. I went ahead to cut out two pieces because I'll be lining this. I'll be using the same fabric to line it. But if you're using a different fabric, you want to cut one piece for each fabric. So this is what I have for the straps as well. You can see it's pointy. Then I have four pieces for the straps, because I will be lining each side of the strap with the same fabric. So I have one for the left, one for the right, then I'll be lining it with the same fabric. Okay. Next up, I'll take one of my band pieces, then I'll be ironing interfacing on the wrong side. Okay, you want to ensure that it's ironed on the wrong side and not on the right side. And I'm going to be doing this for just one of that waist piece or the main belt piece. Okay, then, having ironed it on, I'll be taking one of my band pieces and place it right sides onto that piece that has interfacing, and pin it down and just secure it with a pin, just so it's held down properly. And this is where the belt would sit. Do know that I'm taking one piece of belt or one strap piece at this point and not more than one. So I'm just going to hold that down with a pin. Okay, and ensuring that I do it on the right side of the main fabric that has the interfacing. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Place another strap right sides facing. Then I'm going to mark out the midpoint of this part, then go above that midpoint line by half an inch and below that midpoint line by half an inch. This is to create an opening where the other strap would pass through before it's wrapped around the waist. Okay, so I'm just marking that opening, and now I'm just going to mark half an inch where the seam would start at the top of the strap or at the top of the side, and connect it to that marked point, that half-inch mark above that center point. And I'm doing the same thing for the bottom part. So when sewing this part of the band or this part of the strap, I'll be sewing from that top to that point and do the same thing on the other side. So that center point would be left open, and that is where the other strap would pass through before it is wrapped around the waist and finally knotted or tied. So while on this side, I'm going to sew from top to bottom. So do note that the opening is going to be on just one side, okay? After sewing, I went ahead to iron it, and as you can see, there's a tiny little opening here, while on the other side it is completely stitched from top to bottom with no opening of any sort. Okay, so this is what I'll be repeating on the other pieces. You know, we have 2 pieces for the main belt and 4 pieces for the straps, so I'll be repeating the same thing on the other pieces as well. Having done that, this is the first piece that was stitched, the one that has the interfacing, while the second piece doesn't have any interfacing. Okay, so you want to ensure that you put your interfacing on one side. Depending on type of interfacing, if you're using a lightweight interfacing, you can put it on both parts of the waistband. All right, so now I'm just going to place all the pieces together, right sides facing, and I'm securing it down with a pin just to ensure that all the side seams are even. Yes, you want to ensure that the side seams are even and aligned. You don't want a situation where one part or one stitch is tilted to the left and the other tilted to the right. Then I went ahead to sew all the way around. After pinning it down, I stitched all the way around from one strap all the way to the other strap and back around. I stitched the whole thing down basically. So this is what it's looking like at this point. Really easy, really simple. So what I'll be doing next is to turn it right sides out from that tiny little opening we had at the side. You know, that tiny little opening, so that's where I'm going to be, or that's the passage through which I'm going to turn it right sides out. So having turned it right sides out, this is what it looks like. I'm just going to stitch around that opening with a zigzag stitch just to ensure that it's held down. So when stitching down, I'm not actually stitching it closed, I'm just stitching all the way around it like a regular buttonhole kind of opening. And this is the final look, guys. After stitching and ironing, it looks really, really nice. You can see the pretty little bow that I made. It looks so cute, guys. You can wear this over a skirt, over a gown, over a jumpsuit, over a t-shirt, whatever. It looks really nice. And so do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and learned something. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to join the family, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.